So today we decided to round up all the World Cup balls from 1986 up until today, then score some bangers with them and finally rate them in a tier system. But to make sure that we actually score, some banging bangers, I decided to team up with Seven MLC and Adam from AFE Football. Will it be awesome? Yeah, it'll be super awesome. So let's go. So the way this goes is that we're going to take 10 shots each with every World Cup ball back from 1986 up until today. And then we're going to show you our best of those goals. And an upper 90 is an upper 90, no matter who's the keeper. So let's do it.
We start off with the Azteca, which is the ball from the 1986 World Cup in Mexico, which was the first World Cup ball to have a plastic coating on top to make it rain resistant. And it sounds a little bit stupid today, but back then it was high innovation. Now, it also, of course, created headlines, as it was the ball Maradona scored those 2 goals with, as Argentina later won the tournament.
Okay, this ball was made before I was born, so it's older than me. See how we do? Feels like it's made out of concrete. The balls are so different now, a lot heavier. You can really feel it on your foot. It's not effortless, let's just say that.
First impression, ouch. I kind of like 1986. All of a sudden, I didn't live it, but I like it.
It's not bad. It flies, but it's also rock hard to strike.
So, not only did this ball introduce some pretty important technology, but it's just so extremely iconic. So, straight into A tier. But at the World Cup in Italy in 1990, which was won by Germany by the way, the official ball was called the Estruco Unico. Something like that, which was inspired by the fine art of the Etruscans. Now it improved the rain resistance, the durability, and allegedly the rebound as well.
Definitely doesn't feel as rock hard, but still you can feel it's a heavy ball. It's got that sting when you strike it.
Yeah, this ball feels a lot nicer to strike.
So this ball was known for being a little bit boring. I understand, it's a little bit slow, to be honest.
Not bad, definitely an improvement. Looking forward to getting to some more modern balls though. Still hurts the feet a little bit, so.
But given everything else that's on the list, the Estruco Unico is D tier. Because the 1990 World Cup had been boring, as teams played mostly for the penalty shootouts, so FIFA asked Adidas to spice the ball up for USA in 1994. And they did. The ball was called Questra, and they made it from 5 layers, introducing a polystyrene foam casing. Now that meant that the ball accelerated a lot faster and resulted in more goals. But on the flip side, the goalkeepers hated it for its unpredictable movement. Now where have we heard that before?
Feels a little bit easier to strike, a bit more modern.
Punch is a lot better than the first 2. The first 2, it kind of slaps your foot, a bit painful, but now we're able to get our foot through it.
This thing goes. This thing goes.
It's a lot truer strike. Obviously, by this point, they're starting to make a lot more advancements in the ball technology, and you can really feel it.
Made in America, for America, it could stay there and stay in 94.
Definitely a lot more movement in that one. I understand why goalies hate it. We could. Moves all over the place if you strike it hard and clean. But it's an old school ball, and you can tell.
Sure, the Questra is a lot more exciting than the Etrusco Unico, but it's still only D tier. But then, France won the World Cup in their own backyard in 1998, slotting 3 past Brazil in the final with the Tricolore. Now Adidas made it even more explosive with a better energy return thanks to its syntactic foam consisting of an array of little gas-filled microballs inside the ball. Oh, and it was the first colorized World Cup ball ever made.
That moved. That thing moved. Even back in 1998, Adidas were on it in terms of having a lively football. Okay, that felt pretty good, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's very nice to hit. It moves a lot lighter than the others, so it flies through the air.
Definitely feels more like a modern ball. Like I feel like we're getting there, for sure.
That's probably one thing about the older balls. They're a lot more difficult to knuckle because they are heavier.
You can tell that there's been progression, but it still has that sting when you strike it.
So to sum it up, the Tricolore is a fun ball, but still old school, so C tier. Now at the World Cup in 2002 in Japan and South Korea, the Fervernova continued where the Tricolore left off with a new bolder design that went away from the iconic tango pattern, and Adidas also aimed at making it more accurate and reliable thanks to the 3mm thick package of 11 layers. But the players still complained.
I look at it and I can't help but smile. You know, it's a beautiful football.
So this ball brings back a lot of memories for me. I remember I was 11, I think, and spent the whole summer watching the World Cup. It's a good start. That is so nice to hit. That feels like a proper football now. You can hear it too. It whistles as you hit it.
So far, so good. No complaints yet. I feel like I have to put less effort to get a good strike, if that makes sense.
So it feels very punchy when you hit it. Oi! Was that a Meg? We got a replay on that? Was that a Meg?
And the funny thing is that you'd think it looks like it moves like a Teamgeist, feels like a Teamgeist, has that almost spongy, squishy, beach ball-like feel to it, but it still has the hardness of the Tricolore and the balls before. So it's a little bit of a fun one. Ooh. Classic panel design, you feel that, but it is light to the strike. So interesting combination. It's official, I also like this ball a lot.
So in summary, the Fervernova is a beautiful football, it's pretty iconic, and it's also a little bit of fun. B tier. And then came the Teamgeist for the World Cup in 2006 in Germany, where Italy took the trophy. I think we all remember Zidane scoring a cheeky Panenka and headbutting Marco Materazzi, but the ball itself also made a few headlines, because it was made with 14 thermal-bonded panels and claimed to be rounder and more accurate than ever before. But you know who also complained? Yeah, the goalkeepers. The goalkeepers also complained. Again.
Now this is my favorite ball of the bunch. Not so much for the performance, but the way it looks.
Probably the most aesthetically pleasing ball here, I would say, personally.
Probably the most unreliable thing ever known to man, but it's so much fun to shoot with. It just moves. It moves so much.
All right, I'll see you. It was very nice meeting you both. Jay, can I keep this?
It's just so smooth, it's so light, it's like a beach ball. I know why goalkeepers complained, I would complain too. You can't trust it. But hey, you score some bangers. It just, as you can tell, brings a smile to my face.
Man, that's my favorite ball. Still true today. I want to take that home with me. Oi!
Man, I love the Teamgeist.
But look guys, the Teamgeist is pure chaos. But it's good chaos. And it's iconic. And it's beautiful. And it's S tier. And I don't want to hear anything about it. Cool? Cool. But Adidas continued to raise the bar, especially in terms of craziness. We're talking South Africa 2010. Spain took the trophy after playing with the Jabulani, which went from 14 to 8 thermal-bonded 3D panels with little grooves for better aerodynamics. And it did change the aerodynamics, just not in a very predictable way. So not only the keepers, but also a lot of players in general just hated it.
So this is arguably the most loved football in YouTube history, and the reason is that it is wild. It is unpredictable. It moves like a missile, and you just there's no trusting it.
The Jabulani, goalkeeper's nightmare. That went 10 feet over and then dipped again. The Jabulani is bonkers.
I'm not even aiming. I'm just hitting it, closing my eyes, hoping for the best.
It's when you don't get that spin on the ball. That's when it starts doing its thing. Yeah, that ball's crazy fun. It's been a long time since I've even kicked one, but what a pleasure. Such a fun ball to hit. Not fun if you're on the other side of it though.
And you can tell by the sound when you strike it. It's a lot more plasticky, it's a lot more pingy.
There's the one. That's the one we're looking for. I stepped in front of it. Oh!
I said that the Teamgeist was the most unreliable thing known to man. That's a lie. This ball is. But I like the Teamgeist more.
But when it comes down to it, it's iconic, it looks pretty good, and it's a lot of fun to shoot with. So it's A tier. S tier if you're a YouTuber, but you know, it's up there. You get the point. Now in 2014, the Adidas Brazuca celebrated the spirit of Brazil. and the people had high hopes for Brazil's chances of taking the trophy. But then came Germany, smashed them 7-1, and won the lot. Now, the Brazuca itself only used 6 panels, but went back to having deeper panel grooves and a bit more texture, which increased the air drag and minimized the crazy movement, which was good.
So Brazuca, probably my favorite of the bunch. It's beautiful, it's iconic. It doesn't move as much as the Jabulani, but you can actually trust this one. It still has that trademark Adidas World Cup ball madness to it if you strike it hard enough and strike it right, so...
Brazuca's good. That was probably the first time I've kicked it, and that will be the last time. So let's just keep this moving.
That moves like an arrow. Definitely a lot less movement than the Jabulani. This is a more pure strike.
Oh, say, why did you do that? It just has that right feeling, the response when it leaves your foot. Amazing. The texture on there, the curve you can generate. Michael kind of ruined that top corner shot, but hey, what do you have? I love this football to bits.
So the Brazuca, to us at least, has that perfect balance between fun and performance. It's got a memorable design, came from a crazy tournament, and is, in our book, an S tier. That's a pretty tough one to follow, but in 2018 it was time for France to win the World Cup again, this time in Russia with the Telstar 18. Now, the Telstar built upon the Brazuca but had longer panel edges, giving the ball a better flight stability.
It's a solid football, a little bit less controversial than the Brazuca, still moves. It has a little less of that X factor for me than the Brazuca. It's soft to the strike, it has that lightness to it when you strike it, but it can also feel a little bit heavier than the Brazuca, which to me is not as exciting, but it's reliable. It's what it is.
Come down.
Oh! Aye, that's not a goal. I'm not gonna do that again, that sucks. Well, here's what it is.
So while the Telstar is a very good football, we just couldn't find that magic that some of the older balls gave us. So might be a little bit unfair, but B tier. And then we arrive in 2022, where the World Cup ball is called something that I have a hard time pronouncing, but I'll give it a go. The Rihla. Now, whether or not that was good, I don't know. But anyways, the ball has these 20 panels with a speed shell upper, aiming to make it able to travel a higher speed through the air. But also, supposedly at least, it's more stable. So you get a little bit of everything. Speed, stability, sounds good.
JayMike already pronounced it, so I'm not even going to attempt to do it. So
You know, it's got a little bit of everything. It's dead reliable, it moves well in the air, got a nice bit of texture to it without being overly grippy, and you can trust it. And still, when you hit it right, it has that sweet spot where it just moves. Lovely football.
quite like this ball, actually. It's my first time kicking it. I think we're going to get along just fine.
It definitely feels more padded than maybe the last 2 or 3 World Cup balls. It does what you want it to, so.
Yeah, I like this ball a lot.
But since the World Cup wasn't over by the time we made this video, we can only judge the ball on its looks and performance. And, you know, there's a nice underlying meaning to the design, and it's a very good football. So, to the boys and me, it's A tier.
So those were some pretty nice goals with all of the World Cup balls back from 1986 up until today. But which is your favorite? Let us know as always in the comment section right down below. And if the new Rihla is your favorite, you can buy that via the link to unisport.com right over there. Now, of course, also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure to do that with the notifications on. Check out the boys' socials in the comments. And, well, if you like learning new skills and improve as a football player, hit the playlist in the bottom of the screen. And with those words, we'll be signing off. Enjoy the World Cup. Cheerio.